I've not only looked into it, Karen, I've actually used black salve on my face. I had some skin cancers, and it's an effective treatment, but there are some side effects, I guess. It's not selectively toxic just to the cancer cells. So,
and he says, Greg, I guess.
Yeah, okay, there's two main areas of contention that just rub me the wrong way. Number one is, this is the product. This has got, you can see this clearly. It says Amazon black topical salve. It's CanSema. We use a variety of different labels depending on the jurisdiction. Thing is, what he says about this is if you apply this, it's going to burn a hole in you. You saw that for yourself. It's not true. I'm going to do on this what I did in the 2014. I'm going to put this on my hand and hold it up at various times throughout the interview with it on. And
can you pull out a fresh one just so that you could prove that you didn't doctor it up? Meaning,
what do you mean a fresh one? This is a fresh jar.
Okay, with the sealed lid. Reason I asked, well, I'm recording you right now, right?
Okay.
This is recording so that you can have it on record. But you want to be able to prove that you don't have a, container that's been previously opened.
Well, I did a 2004 YouTube where I made it fresh. It's made right there fresh. And I take it and I apply it from my wrist all the way up to my elbow. And we can abstract from that. That's been on YouTube for 11 years now.
Okay.
And this, whatever I do today, it's just a repetition of a demonstration I did in 2004. And the thing is, I get customers calling all the time saying, your product doesn't work. I've left it on for 2 days. I feel nothing.
It's because they don't have cancer.
That wouldn't be possible if Ty Bollinger was telling the truth about Escharotics. And even though he doesn't mention us by name, he besmirches an entire modality to promote Curaderm. Something that we have, Alpha Omega Labs is practically a Curaderm crisis center. And what I'm going to do is I've given you a link, the Ashwin link, the one that says Ashwin. I'm going to pack it full of these letters and photographs from people who have been really seriously hurt. And the amazing thing about Curaderm is you got to apply this stuff for months. In most cases, months, which would be unheard of for an Escharotic. It would just be unheard of. And this, like I say, I'm going to have on that link, I'm going to have these stories, these tragic stories of what happened when people use Curaderm. But Ty Bollinger promotes it a cancer cure. He doesn't say anything about the dangers about it. He doesn't say anything about its the long-term use that people have to use it, or its cost. In my book Metatopia, I go back and show that Paracelsus was using Escharotics 500 years ago. And I want to make this as perfectly clear as I can. I have letters about Curaderm that go back to 1999. And for 16 years now, I have kept my big mouth shut. I haven't said a word about it. But I'm going to publish those letters now because this is over the top. That needs some correction. That's really all this. That's where this is coming from. I'm not coming from any other direction other than the fact that people shout out the truth. This says Amazon black topical staff tissue. I wanted to get the one that was the most aggressive, the most transdermal, the most penetrating. Now, according to Ty, this will burn you. It's a fresh jar, so I've got to.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Okay.
I've got to take everything off of it. Okay, you can see that's it. It's a fresh jar, just freshly opened. I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to kind of put it over my, I'm going to lather that thing on good. I'm going to use it far more aggressively than any customer's going to use, because in our pain management section, we say only apply a very small amount at a time. But I'm going to really overdo it. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to wear this for the entirety of this interview, and at the end, I'm going to take it off, and we're going to let the viewers see whether or not Ty is correct, and I have seriously burned myself. Gently explain to the user the reason that they applied the salve and absolutely nothing has happened is because there's no cancer. And why is that? Because the product is discriminating. It will only go after diseased tissue. It's not just cancer. It'll also go after actinic keratosis, phylloides, tumors, Merkel cell carcinoma. There's a few other things that it will go after, serious fungal or bacterial infections. But I can wear this for 24 hours, and I'm not going to have a burn. It came up in Ingrid Newman's book called Cancer Salves. either these people are deliberately putting out misinformation or they're just not knowledgeable. That may be Ty's case. I mean, in all candor, I think Ty has really put himself out there. He's courageous. He's done the industry a service in as much as he's talking about how corrupt the medical industrial complex is, and I applaud him for that. But there's no difference fundamentally in the message between Ty Bollinger and Quackwatch.
Well, let me interrupt you for just a second and allow me to ask a question. For people that don't know what Quackwatch is, describe for the listener what that is, what they talk about.
There's a man out there by the name of Dr. Stephen Barrett, and he's created a website called Quackwatch. I'm on it. Everybody in the history of medicine who's ever produced good, solid clinical results concerning cancer treatment that is not chemo and radiation and radical surgery is on there. I mean, Reif is in there, Raymond Royal Reif, and William F. Koch, and some really, really notable people who in Hoxie. We're talking people who had tens upon tens upon tens of thousands of people come to their court dates to say, I was cured of cancer. I'm here to testify on my own behalf. All these famous people in our industry who produced very effective cancer cures, they're all in Quackwatch. There's a running joke in the alternative cancer medium. You have not done service to humanity. You have not really discovered anything value in medicine unless you've learned your rightful place in Quackwatch. It's a running joke. Stephen Barrett is so lacking in intelligence and attention to detail. He confuses zinc chloride with zinc oxide. Zinc oxide, by the way, has no value in any escharotic preparation whatsoever. I don't use zinc oxide. None of my competitors use zinc oxide, to the best of my knowledge. That changed as a result of Ty Bollinger's Q&A too. He repeats this and says, yeah, they're using zinc oxide. To make the statement that this Escharotics will burn perfectly healthy tissue, when untold thousands of people have used Escharotics, it will not burn healthy tissue. Those who say that it does includes Quackwatch, Ingrid Newman, and now Tim Bollinger. I think it's really improper for me to speculate as to what he was thinking. I'm just saying that it's misinformation, and even though he says, well, yes, it will work, but there is nobody who's going to see that Q&A that Ty did and not say, oh my God, whatever, I would never want to touch an escharotic. He says it's dangerous. It eats through healthy tissue. If I didn't know what I know, if I was hidden and working in this field for 25 years and I were to hear that Q&A, the one thing I would make sure that I did was never in my lifetime get anywhere near black salve. The comments he makes about it would scare me away, just speaking as an everyday consumer. And that's wrong. That's misinformation. And yet he exalts Curaderm, something that we've had to rectify at least 3 dozen people in the last 15, 16 years that have taken it, that have been seriously injured, that come to us for advice, asking us, do we know? I guess they think that Curaderm is an escharotic and is in the same classification as what we do. And I wouldn't even address this if it were something that were some small group were discussing it and passing along this disinformation. But Ty openly brags he's gotten well over 3 million hits. 3 million people that went through and saw this series, a lot of people. And those people talk to other people.
Okay, well, if you're going to make a call out to Ty right now and ask him to consider what he's doing, how would you put it? Like right now, as if you're talking to Ty.
Prove that this product, or one like it, somehow harms or reacts to healthy tissue, or formally retract your misinformation. I don't know how much more simple I can put it.
In the case of somebody that you're applying that to, and they do have cancer just underneath the skin.
Oh, you're going to feel it, and there's going to be reaction, even in the
right away?
The course 30 minutes.
Okay.
It depends on how close it is to the skin and its size of it. Okay, I've rubbed it all off. Now I want you to look very carefully at the back of this hand. Now, there is no hole. There are no blisters. There is no sign that anything whatsoever has happened. And this is my most intense formula. It doesn't get any stronger than this. This is the most aggressive you can get, and yet nothing.
Compare the other hand to it. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. Got me convinced. Whenever you apply a natural remedy, and in the case of bloodroot, which is the black salve, it's got antimicrobial, antibacterial properties to it that when it's absorbed through your skin, it's actually doing you a secondary favor of cleansing you from the absorption of just simply being antibacterial. Am I right? It's an antifungal.
This is a very strong. Escharotics as a general are very powerful antimicrobials. They are very powerful antimicrobials. So, yeah, you'll feel some tingling, but that's okay. Big deal, some tingling. But honestly, it is a frequent phone call we get. Why did I apply your product, and how come nothing's happening? I have to answer that frequently, and that's why. And by contrast, it's so inexplicable why Ty would make this kind of statements. And the only explanation that I can come up with is that for some reason he, in the act of creating his video series, he got close to Bill Cham, the creator of Curaderm, and he felt the necessity to besmirch anything that was, shall we say, Curaderm, but not Curaderm, in the sense that it worked in a similar way. It was a topical that was used to treat cancer. That's the only explanation I come up with.
The thing is, it does affect the cells around that, so you have to be very careful that you only put it on the cancer and not the healthy cells, because it's very caustic. It's got bloodroot and zinc oxide, and so if I put it on my hand, it doesn't have cancer, it'll eat a hole in my hand. The skin will eventually grow back, but it's very caustic. That's why, from a safety perspective, the Curaderm, I think, is I would lean towards that for skin cancer as opposed to the black salve.